Hello, beautiful, and welcome to Finding Fertility. I'm your host, Monica Cox from FindingFertility.co, and I created this podcast to help get you to start thinking outside of the box and realize that your infertility might have nothing to do with your lady bits. Rooted in functional medicine and personal experience, Finding Fertility is all about looking at the whole body and finding the root cause of your infertility. Finding Fertility does not diagnose, prescribe, or treat any issues of infertility, but what we do is take a holistic approach and improve your diet and your lifestyle to get you steps closer to creating your dream family. Just by being here with me, listening to this podcast, you're already going down the right path to making your dreams come true. Let's do this together. Happy Friday, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Finding Fertility. I'm your host, Monica Cox, and I am completely honored that you are here with me today, becoming the conscious mama you were born to be. Today, we have a clip from the community. This is an exclusive access community for people who have joined one-to-one coaching, fertility food, fertility mind, or dreams. You get a 10-day trial to see how you like it. And it's a place where you can ask your questions, voice your concerns, and jump on live group coachings with me and hopefully some other women who are dealing with the same issues and make those connections. There's nothing like community to get you through the hard times. But this talk kind of came up actually in individual sessions, and I think it's a really important part because fertility smoothies were a big thing when I was going through this, almost 15 years ago, and I think it's still a big thing. Smoothies and protein shakes and things like that. So I wanted to kind of dive into the nitty-gritty of the whys and the why nots. And so hopefully you guys can utilize these, these great supplements, quote unquote, I'm doing air quotes right here, and make sure that we're just not overdoing it. And also knowing kind of the science behind why you might not want to drink a large portion of your meals. So without further ado, let's get to today's episode. So actually with one-to-one client and one client that's in the live group coaching that gets some one-to-one access, the topic of smoothies and protein shakes and these powdered foods that have like a lot of food in them has come up, and I want to kind of give you the pros and the cons of these types of food supplementations, because really that's what it is. It's a supplementation of a real food. Are we lucky enough to live in a time that we have access to these things? Absolutely. But at the same time, it's not something that we want to overuse when we are in a healing phase, because the body is going to recognize real food over more so, right? More so than foods that have literally been turned into powder and can sit on a shelf for months, if not years. And like I say, like, I'm glad we live in these times. I'm glad we have this access. It definitely helps us out in our busy lifestyles that we lead. And sometimes we can't not have a busy lifestyle because it funds our life and it funds our fertility experience, whether that is through coaching or, doing medical treatment. So one thing that came up is whey. So there's a lot of protein shakes that have whey in them. Obviously, if you're a vegan or maybe even a vegetarian, you're staying away from whey, but you can also be intolerant to whey, which one of these clients is intolerant, and she wants to find a better substitute for her busy lifestyle when she's not able to access
a meal, because like the reality is that I'd rather you grab one of these products or make yourself a shake than go through the McDonald's drive-through, right? We got to do the best that we can do in every situation. So there are some really good protein from pea that we can get as long as you're not intolerant to pea. So you got to make sure double check that. But as I'm looking into different products, it's really important to still hyper focus on the ingredients. We and I have fallen for this too, because my journey was in the UK, and it was so long ago that the gluten-free, protein, or not protein, what am I trying to think of? Like Whole30, like wasn't a really big thing, and the section in the grocery store was like this big. So there wasn't really many options. So I really truly didn't use anything as a substitute. I didn't eat bread. I didn't eat pastas. I stayed away from rice. Like that's just how it was. Now there is so many more better options for those free from alternatives, but also there is some really good marketing, and some companies out there, I'm not saying that they're doing it on purpose, but they're capturing this market that is trying to do better, but put a lot of crappy ingredients in them, especially rancid oils, soy-based products. I was trying to think of like what was the thing that I saw? Oh, stevia. So uh replacement sugars, which are artificial. So, okay, yeah, you're not getting the sugar, but are you ingesting something on a large quantity that your body is like, I don't even know what this is. I don't even know what to do with it because it is like foreign, and is actually worse for your body than potentially just having a little bit of sugar. Um, so you got to really make sure when you're looking into these products, one, it doesn't have crappy ingredients that you're trying to stay away from, that it doesn't have maybe some hidden intolerance for you. It can be really easy to get sucked into like, oh, this is so amazing for health, but you're intolerant to it. It's always important too that when you're introducing new things that um, you listen to your body, just because it's like this organic, perfect, perfectly crafted thing. If you have it and you feel like crap, listen to your body. It's not good for you. The other thing too is that these are for emergencies. I definitely have one client right now who is, and I mean, it's just, I feel you, I feel the pain, right? I found the perfect protein shake for me. It has like literally 50 ingredients in it. It works. Do I have to give it up? And the the long answer is no, you don't have to completely give it up, but we have to be radically honest. Okay, you found something that quote unquote worked. Is it really working for you? Right? Are we achieving our ultimate goal? Are we seeing normal and common health issues go away? And I don't believe that these shakes are like the sole issue, but there is room in our life. And if you don't believe there is, that's another kind of mindset thing we need to work on. Where can we create the room in our lives to get real whole food in as much as possible and use these protein shakes as a supplement? Because I think that's how they should be treated and not be used as a meal. I know my best friend does shakes every single morning, and she's like, "Do you want one?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll have one with you." But it's a rare occurrence I wake up and make myself any type of shake for the morning or at lunchtime. Shakes for me, so okay, so that's the protein shakes, right? Where it's basically the thing is already, you just add water or whatever you add to it, milk. I don't think you would add milk to it, but and you drink it. And then you're like, that's a whole meal. I've had a whole meal. The same thing with making a shake, which might have some protein powder in it, and you're adding your vegetables, maybe you're adding definitely some fruit in there, and maybe any other ingredients. The two issues with the issues with drinking these two types of supplements or foods is that you are not starting the digestive process up here, because that's where it starts. Your mouth is crucial, and there's a huge connection to your gut health through your mouth. And the saliva that kicks in, the different processes. I'm not going to go into like the nitty-gritty of it. I'll put a link if you want to get super scientific on it. But chewing your food, and chewing your food slowly, because that was a huge issue for me. I grew up at the table where it was like shovel it in, and I don't even know why. I think it was just something my mom brought in because she grew up on a ranch and a farm, and they had to like eat as fast as you can with 9 kids to get, what you needed, and then out the door to go back to work. But I mean, we didn't live that lifestyle, but we definitely, for me, it was like fast, right? Eat as fast as you can. And so, slowing down and chewing our food and being present with a meal, you just don't get that with the shake, right? A lot of the times when we're making these shakes, and I know when I make a shake, it's for a quick fix. It's because I don't have an extra 20 minutes, or I haven't made time to have an extra 20 minutes to sit down and eat. And I know that I can pack this little, jar full of amazing stuff for what I need, but we're not completing the process, if that makes sense. So there could be issues of breakdown of nutrients, your gut being able to get the nutrients and stuff. I see this in a lot of my clients who are on clean eating diets. Their gut health just isn't like up to scratch to even take in the nutrients that they're putting into their body. So their diet really isn't working for them. So when you do use a protein shake, or a shake that you make with real food, you want to have something alongside that you can eat. So today I made my husband a shake actually, and I got the end of it, and I opened up a big orange. We get these sumo oranges here in Hawaii in the winter time. And I slowly ate this orange while I was drinking this shake through a straw to help with that process of like, okay, body, here comes some food. It's amazing. Please do what I want you to do with it. But starting those process, because when you just suck it through a straw or you just chug it, you're not getting that at all. And it is a pretty crucial thing to long-term digestion health, right? If we are waking up every single morning, or our lunch every single afternoon is a shake, and we're slamming it and we're going out the door, it's not doing anything for us. I mean, it might fill you up. You might psychologically think, okay, I've done good. But there's so many little things that we're missing that add up to big results in a long-term, consistent process, right? This is all, you are what you do consistently. So it's really important to have that and even be present when you're having your shake, right? Taking a few moments of deep breath, maybe before you consume it, because I know sometimes it's just on the go, right? Honoring it, just slowing down, even just a fracture could really make all the difference in your long-term healing. So that's super important. In this, I'm going to link some of the protein powders that I found that don't have whey in them that you can possibly use. Also, I highly recommend, when I make my shakes, I add meringue powder. It's very similar to sea moss, which I'll also link, that you can put into a smoothie. it's so nutrient dense, and you don't need a lot of it to get the nutrients that you might be missing. But what you also need to think, especially if you're using protein powders, what else do they have in them in regards to supplementation? Because we might be overdoing our supplementation if we're using these protein powders that are packed full. I think like A1 sent me some stuff, and it was like there was so much in it. It was ridiculous. And it was a replacement for your like one a day supplement. But you got to think of that too when you're looking at these ingredients. Okay, how much magnesium am I getting? Is there extra magnesium in here? How much magnesium do I have in my supplementation? Am I using magnesium salt baths? I know it could be like a little bit overwhelming, but just make sure that if you are using a powder that is packed full of stuff, maybe that day you don't need to take your multivitamin. So be really aware of that. I won't link anything, but obviously folic acid is something that we want to be conscious of. A lot of people just don't process folic acid. It's just like the synthetic sugar supplements. It's man-made, so a lot of people's body are just like, WTF, what is this? So it's really important to know how much of it you're having, because it's fortified in a lot of foods. And the cool thing is when you go to a clean eating diet, you get rid of a lot of those foods that are fortified with iron and folic acid, which are probably like not the best forms. And you're getting it through your food. That is, the ultimate goal is really to get what we need from our food, most of it, and then bring in supplementation, bring in these whey protein shakes as a supplementation for the times we are living life and just on the go. So I think that is it. Wanted to talk about like your digestion and eating, the ingredients. And yeah, I mean, I think I talked a little bit about this at the very start, but we have to be aware that these things aren't real food. And the real reality is too, is like our body doesn't need it every single day. That's just not how we're set up. If we use supplementation kind of like this as well, like, well, I have to take it every single day. And for me, it's like, no, like, unless you are super deficient and, in something, let's say like an iron deficiency, or maybe you have a cold and you want to max out in your vitamin C, your body is able to function on a really high level without being bombarded all the time with, let's quote unquote say, perfection, right? Your liver has to process all of this supplementation. And if your liver is struggling, it's probably not doing you as much good as you think it's doing if you're taking it every single day. So just be aware of that as well. Have that in the back of your mind. Like, it's so easy to get caught up of like, well, I'm taking my supplements. Oh, I'm drinking my protein shake. I'm being good. It's like, that's not real food. So let's have a more balanced lifestyle and don't use them as our go-tos. Use them as supplementation and make sure you're doing the right thing for your body, that the things that you are having have the right ingredients for you. And I think most people will see a massive positive impact on their health when they loosen the reins of trying to seek perfection through these like supplemental foods. I hope that's helped. I hope that's everything. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I should make a list. Okay, so I hope that has helped you guys. If you have any questions, make sure you ask them down below in the comments area. check out the links. And until next time, have a great day.
Thank you once again for tuning in to the Finding Fertility podcast. If you're loving this podcast, please leave us a rating and review and let us know how this podcast is supporting you to get steps closer to creating your dream family. I hope you have a beautiful weekend, and we will see you next Friday for another episode of the Finding Fertility podcast.